Hi guys, Alicia from Future Frequency Astrology here with your August 2018 forecast. We've got a lot happening this month, but it ain't nothing like last month. Thank God. That July was quite literally a buffet of crazy. I don't know how you were feeling. I don't know how you went with the eclipse that ended the month, but for me, it was a month about learning a lot of lessons and also about learning what I do and don't want to go ahead with, about what priorities are important to me. And yeah, really just understanding a lot more about myself and some of the old patterns that drive me. I haven't been able to let go of all of them, but definitely done a lot of work digging into them. And I'm hoping as Jupiter continues to go through Scorpio, which is my sun sign, that I will be able to release more and heal more with that happening. So yeah, curious as to how that went with you. Feel free to leave comments below on the page. And yeah, let's get ready for August. There are some nice things and some doozies, but I think that we can all breathe a collective sigh of relief that July is over. And yeah, as we move closer and closer towards the end of the year, things are easing and we've got a lot more joy and happiness and just, yeah, less crazy. So where should we start? I'm not going to do a blow by blow. There's just a lot happening, but I'm going to look at some of the key themes this month. And look, one of the first of them is what's happening these first 4 days. So Mars is still retrograde, and one of the good things about this month is he will go direct right at the end. However, he is still retrograde, and today up until the 4th, so that's Sunday here in Australia, he will have a square relationship happening with Uranus. He's getting closer and closer as he backtracks through Aquarius to Uranus in Taurus. So look, Mars likes to cut. Mars likes to cut off. It likes to slash at things. It can be aggressive, or, you know, it could be a warrior with a sword, or it can be a knife, a surgeon wielding a knife. Uranus just likes to destroy. He is the original shock jock and he likes to break things down. So I would say consciously put things in their way over the next few days. So look, I'm already seeing around me how things can blow up out of nowhere, and we have some really interesting combustible and volatile things going on. So try not to plug into that if you can. Remember those Swiss Alps. That's my mantra right now. Those Swiss Alps, because it still is. You know, we've still got that Aquarian energy that is self-contained and that is removed. And it's also offering us the chance to have a look at things from a new perspective. You know, it's really innovative. So yeah, if you can try to look at things a little bit differently, you may get a different take on the situation. I'm not sure how this Mars retrograde has been for you so far. I'm hearing lots of interesting stories about old relationships coming in, old hurts being triggered, old relationships coming in and re-triggering old hurts, or fights coming up out of nowhere. But I'm also hearing stories about how people are able to really step back and take that space. And that's the beauty of astrology. It gives us a chance to work really consciously with things. So yeah, I hope these videos are helping, and that they will continue to help this month. So Mars is continuing to backtrack, and he actually goes out of Aquarius on the 13th. So right after that eclipse, which we'll talk about later, the last of the eclipse, he's going to move into Capricorn. So look, for all those fixed signs, you Taurus, Leos, Scorpios and Aquarians out there, especially if you've got planets in those first few degrees, yes, you can breathe a collective sigh of relief. However, if you have planets in the last degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer or Capricorn, you may be revisiting some of the stickiness or trickiness or things that flared up towards the beginning of May. So we're talking the first 2 weeks of May. it's your second chance to do this, so it may not be as full on as it was then, and it will go back forward through those in the last 2 weeks of September as well. So a real chance to learn some lessons. I would say a time to really be mindful. And yeah, for anyone feeling this, especially the next couple of days, anything that gets you grounded. Look, you know, Sunday especially, the moon is going to be coming up and connecting with Mars in that place in Taurus. So play out the positive side of Mars. Give yourself some space. Time out in nature is a perfect thing for this. Or just some pleasurable activities that get you in your body, get you into your five senses. You know, I think for me, when I'm feeling overwhelmed and frustrated, if I can just get my spine up against the back of up against a tree, it just helps drain all that static out. So yeah, and of course, as I always say, just sleep with amethyst under your pillow and keep that washed regularly to get everything out. That will really help drain anything for you. So on the 27th or the 26th, Mars will grind to its station position, and by the 28th, it will be moving forward again. So yeah, for those who are ruled by Mars, my Aries and Scorpios out there, it's all you need to get to. I promise it's going to get easier after that. There will be a collective sense of reinvigoration and a refocusing forwards. And yeah, but for those people who have strong Mars charts, yeah, you'll get your mojo back. I promise it's coming. I know it's really hard. And now that it's past that midway point, it's almost like, I don't know, it reminds me of running the City to Surf and hitting that heartbreak hill and just knowing I've just got to slug it up there and keep going, and it will get easier from there on. So yeah, you're at that heartbreak hill bit, just keep going, up one foot in front of the next. You'll get there. What else to talk about? The other thing with this energy over the next few days is that Uranus is also coming up to a trine with Saturn. So this is going to steady things and ground things a bit. And hopefully, you know, any fire in a fireworks factory that potentially could go off at this time will be a bit, you know, quickly put out, or people will be responsible with their thinking and the way they react to things. And again, just remember, give it space, give it time. You don't want to explode everything, or, you know, do controlled detonation. Destroy the things you want to destroy. So Mercury has been retrograde as well. And yeah, I don't know about you guys, I had a whole drama today with technology. That's why my forecast wasn't out earlier than it was. And as of the 5th, so we're talking Monday, it's going to move and be what we call combust the sun. So it's coming close enough to the sun that you can't actually see it. And it's almost like our mind is slipping into the shadows. So retrograde already has us turning inwards and thinking about things more inwardly. But this is really, you know, if you have any plans or projects coming up that are really going to require a lot of mental energy, then I would say that second week, next week in August, is not a time to do it. It is a time to dwell. It's a time to meditate. It's a time to do mindfulness. It's not a time to be putting in heavy duty thinking and things that require a lot of brain work. So if you can delay them or put them off, or just know that they're going to take a bit more time, then that would be ideal. After that, on the 8th, we've got Venus, one of the beautiful beneficials, moving into her own sign of Libra. Harmony, peace, balance. Think about the scales. It's about fairness and equality, and you know, she's going into home territory. It's like she's coming to her holiday home, and it's her own domain. So she's going to be able to act a lot more easily and with a lot more magic. So, you know, I think any relationships that may have been made a bit tense with all this Mars retrograde, that's a time to try to find healing and to try to reconnect. And also, I would though wait, because it's almost like she's coming back to her palace, but there on the gate as the security detail is her ex-lover, Mars, on one side, who's wanting to rehash some things that may have happened in the past. And on the other side is one of the local sheriffs who she may have gotten into a few dramas with lately, and he's trying to block her way. So just know that that energy is there as she slips back into Libra, and it may be tense for a few days, but she just needs to use all her charm and all her magnetism to be able to ease things over and just be the silver-tongued diplomat as she slides through into her own house. What else? So then on the 9th, the next day at around 8 o'clock in the morning here in Australia, Australian Eastern Standard Time, Mercury's going to slip into what we call cazimi. So for a few hours, he is going to be in a really good position. And it's almost like standing on the balcony with the king and being in his ear or being given his ear. So that in any important projects or anything mercurial that you want to put out there, this is a great time. So anything writing, communication, teaching, anything ruled by Mercury. Yes, it is retrograde, but it is a time to kind of perhaps go with the first stages of any plans that you've been hatching or researching under this Mercury retrograde. And later that day, and this is a really nice day, we're going to have, so the moon has moved into Cancer already, but he's going to slide on over, he's going to slide on over to form a beautiful harmonious relationship with Jupiter in Scorpio and Neptune in Pisces. So we've got a water trine, and this is the gift of intuition. So this is a day to really feel into things, touch base with what's going on inside you. And I don't know, Neptune in Pisces is all about our dreams and our visions. And it's got quite a spiritual bent and a real bent of wanting to connect with the unknown. Jupiter in Scorpio has been digging things up out of the deep and looking at old wounds, and, you know, especially with Mars energy. So I get a sense that there's some real healing possible. And with the moon in Cancer, it's about reconnecting with ourselves and those close to us, our intimates. This is definitely a day to spend by the ocean. It's a day to take a long bath. It's a day to have cups of tea and connect with friends who really get you and who really feel you. Time to really be into your sensitive side and open up emotions with others and be vulnerable, because I get the feeling that a lot of ideas and visions that happen at this time have some really good long-term benefits. So yeah, mark the 9th on your calendar as a day for magic to happen, a day for really special things. And then a few days later, we have the partial eclipse in Leo. So it is a Leo new moon, and I will do a video on this closer to the time, but it is also the last of this eclipse season. Now, you know, Leo loves to shine. It's ruled by the sun, and it likes to be center stage. Can be partially about ego, but it's also about ourselves and what drives us, what we're passionate about, what makes us shine, you know, what is it that makes our spirit flare, all those kinds of things. It's a month, it starts a month of exploration around those kinds of things. And you can do it, you know, Leo likes to do things creatively. So it could really be a time for you to explore those kind of visions and ideals, but using creative medium, whatever that may be, whether it's writing or visual arts, musically, whatever. It's a really good time to kind of get in and feel around in that energy. So it's going to happen at 7:57 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and it's happening at 18 degrees of Leo. So if you have any planets around that time, around that degree, sorry, or whatever house that's falling in, that is the area to really push. So if it's Venus, it's about exploring creativity in your relationships. If it's Mercury, then creative writing may be a way, or writing out your intentions around how you could shine. And Mercury will be conjunct this, and there is a square with Jupiter. So both of these are adding some optimism and some mental power to it all. And I feel like, you know, ideas will flow really well. And it may be around, you know, looking at that area of your chart that Scorpio is in with that Jupiter there, and seeing how that plays out as well, that with that square to square. So what has Jupiter been growing in your chart, and how might this new moon in Leo help give that a little bit more of a kick, especially now that Jupiter is really getting into his stride after his retrograde and moving forward, ready to kind of clear the last half of Scorpio and leap right into Sagittarius in November. So what else do we want to talk about? Mercury, later on in the month, he is going to stop at 11 degrees of Leo, and he is going to then start moving forwards again. So that is on the 19th. So he is the first retrograde to go direct, and you know, it'll be a bit slow for a few days. Stations always are, but just know that anything that you've been researching, reviewing, refining since Mercury went retrograde late last month, tripping over my words here, that's typically Mercury retrograde, that will start to shift forward, especially around, you know, the 22nd, 23rd of the month. And the 23rd of the month as well is when the moon has moved into Capricorn, and it is going to conjunct Pluto at the same time that Pluto is having a links to both Jupiter and Venus, the two beneficiaries. The imagery I had of this was, you know, the maidens or the beneficial ladies, because you've got Jupiter in Scorpio, which is a feminine watery sign, Venus in Libra, and the moon. And it's almost like they're coming together to get Pluto, this, you know, shadowy, hidden figure, out. And I get the sense, you know, I keep thinking of the emo kid in high school, that sensitive, intense, dark character who likes to spend time on his own, and nobody really wants to be near anyway, so kind of just let him alone. But it's like suddenly that day the planets collide and he ends up sitting at a table with the cool kids, and you know, they warm him up a bit and he brings some depth to them, and nothing, you know, no one leaves that table the same. He is given a bit of a kiss of lightness and joy and charm, and sensitivity, whereas the others are taught that there is more to look at below the surface, and yeah, that real depth and honesty can bring joy and connection as well. So that's going to happen on the 23rd, and yeah, there's some real possibilities there to, I feel, take whatever wounds are being healed by Jupiter in Scorpio and move forward with them and really transform them and let them go. And it's funny because this is happening right before that full moon that's going to happen at the end of the month. in Pisces. And, you know, Pisces is the ultimate planet of letting go. I always find with Pisces, it's almost like people with a lot of planets in Pisces have wounds of even being here on the planet. They just want to be up, floating around in the ether. And so it's almost like everything that's been dug up since October last year, everything that has been examined and felt, even with this Mars retrograde, can be let go, can be released, can be given new shape, new form. It's almost like I just have the visual of taking things, you know, washing the blood off your hands in the river. And I know that's quite graphic, but that's what it feels like, you know, or washing the mess or the drama or anything that you don't want to be with anymore, just taking it to this huge flowing river and immersing yourself totally in it and just letting it go, because the full moon's all about that. And this is such a sensitive, intuitive, watery new full moon that it's a beautiful time to just let it go and let it flow. And at that same time, the next day is when Mars is already slowing down, but on the 27th, that's when it stations to move direct. So it's the perfect time to be winding up that cycle of really letting things go. So I personally would say take that time between the new moon and the full moon to really examine. And I know I've been saying this over and over again, but what's not working for you? What have all these frustrations and what have all these dramas brought up for you that you want to let go of? And to really get back, as I said earlier, to those core fundamentals and know that they are what grounds you in and what keeps you real. And that's it. That's all you need. I think I'm going to leave it there. There is more to happen, but I will be putting them up on Instagram. So you can follow me on Instagram. It's just future frequency, and the same on Facebook. So you'll be able to see either of those there. I will do a new moon post closer to the time. For those on the Sunshine Coast, there is a new moon gathering on Thursday the 9th in Palmwood. So feel free to email me, alicia@futurefrequency.com for more information, .com.au, sorry. And yeah, I wish you all the best for the month of August. May it have moments of lightness and moments of challenge that help you grow. And I look forward to seeing you and hearing any stories you may have ready for the next month.